What's going on, boys and girls? Welcome back to another edition of Dog or Pass podcast. Last week we had a good card. I mean, that card was, I enjoyed it for the name value that it was. I think we're starting to see now. It doesn't always have to be name value. And obviously, if you're here, if you're watching, you're a hardcore fan. If you're not, you probably wouldn't know those names. So they don't entice you as much. But great card, great card. I wasn't expecting a main event to go like that. I did expect that outcome, but I didn't expect it to be over that quickly. But like I said, overall, it was a great card. We did really well. I was at the madlabmma.com. We went up a couple units when I know a lot of people went down. So we kind of played it safe. There's certain cards that we look at and we say we're going to go all in. There's certain cards that we look at that we say we're going to sit back a little bit. We're going to play with some money that we're not afraid to lose. And if we win, great. And it was one of those nights. We played with some money that we weren't afraid to lose, and we came out on top. Actually, the capsizer for us was boxing. We hit a really nice dog with Barboza. He was an underdog. We took him by decision. We hit that at like plus 215. So that kind of brought us over the top. So overall, it was a good night, great night of fights. I mean, just super, super action. So we look to move on. Dayton also on the sticks. What's going on, brother?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I hit my dog last week.
You did. That's why I'm calling you in. 1-0 on the new format. 1-0. That was a good pick. Did you think you were going to win that fight? Did you watch the fight?
No, I was away. I actually wasn't even home Saturday night. But going in, I wasn't very confident. After you gave the breakdown before on the show, I was like, kind of like, oh shit, this is not going to go my way. But it
was a dicey fight, dude. It was a dicey fight. It was back and forth. It was a really good fight, though. I'm telling you, bro, all those fights, whether you're a fight fan or not, you would have loved it. And that was another one. You know, for those two guys to throw a fight like that, you knew it was just the energy in the building. Because I was expecting that fight to kind of be just a little complacent and boring, and it wasn't. It was actually a good fight, back and forth. They both had their moments. Anybody could win. Anyone could have won, but Anders used his body, leveraged them against the cage, took some control time away, and that's how he edged it out. So Dayton's 1-0 with the dog pick of the week. But now we move on to a card that probably, I mean, it's going to be hard to top the action of that card. But there are some good fights. The main event is Evloev versus Lerone Murphy. On paper, this is a really, really, really good fight. You're getting two guys that are, spectacular at what they do. Obviously, big time winning streaks. Minus 240 for Evloev. Lerone Murphy's coming back at plus 105. Over and under is minus 350. I know that seems juiced, but if you know their styles and you know Evloev's style, that's pretty much sitting in the right kind of wheelhouse. I do think this is a little bit juiced. I do not think the price tag should be where it is. I do believe the favorite, rightfully so, is Evloev. But when you look at these two guys, you got to look at the styles, right? And anytime you get a guy like Lerone Murphy who is super athletic, boxes really well, he moves really well off his back foot, utilizes his jab really well. The problem with him is his wrestling. I mean, he's been taken down like 7 times in 9 fights, so he can be taken down because of his athleticism. He does have a very good get-up game. But at the end of the day, when you're facing somebody like Evloev, who is going to constantly push that pace, it becomes daunting after a while. You can fight guys who are going to take you down 1 or 2 times and get up and keep them on their feet and kind of bait them there and set a trap and kind of figure them out. But when you got a guy who's constantly pushing, 5 takedowns, 6 takedowns, 7 takedowns. Once he gets into that flow state, it's very, very hard to keep him off you. Your athletic ability at that point is kind of nullified, so the thing that I do see with Evloev on his side is that as good as an offensive wrestler as he is, he also can be taken down. We've seen it with Aljo, great transitional, grappling. If you watch that fight, it was great. It was back and forth the whole time, but he is one that as good as his offensive output in his wrestling is, he can be taken down as well. So it's almost like a double-ended sword. But a guy like Lerone Murphy, will he shoot for takedowns once in a while? Yeah, he will take you down, but he's not going to out-wrestle Evloev. He's not going to out-grapple Evloev. The way he wins this fight is he's got to, A, stay on his feet, and B, what he has to do is he has to kind of bait Evloev into striking exchanges. And that's, believe it or not, Evloev has decent hands. If you really watch his film, I really dove in deep with him this week. If you really watch him, like, he's not lost when it comes to boxing. He's got a decent, it's not to par with his offensive wrestling or offensive grappling, but it's good enough. It's serviceable enough to keep him live, keep him active, and set up his takedowns. Um, I just think when you're looking at the way this match is up, you're looking at one guy who's going to be running downhill, and you're going to be looking at one guy who's going to try not to be getting pushed downhill. And you got to do that for 25 minutes. Now, like I said, Lerone Murphy's got some decent pop in his hands, but if you watched him against Aaron Pico, this is the one thing that kind of swayed me, because I always take people's athletic ability and I look at that, and you got to factor that in, especially when these guys are on the up and up. It will actually guide you through, because you're facing guys who haven't maybe seen a guy in your athletic exchange, or they're just not seasoned enough. When you get at this level, it will help you. You can add that as a component, but you can't really lean on it, because there are guys that face guys as good as athletes as you at this point, and they know how to nullify them. But if you watch his fight with Aaron Pico, um, Aaron Pico was able to take him down when he wanted. He was controlling the fight. Now, I know you see the L on his record that Lerone Murphy got a knockout, but if you really watch that fight and you watch it from second to second, minute to minute, Aaron Pico was kind of controlling where that fight went at any point in time. He wanted to take him down. He took him down. Lerone Murphy got up. He rode him. He took him down again. And then during the break, Lerone Murphy throws a spinning elbow, catches him, and knocks him out. We know that Aaron Pico's chin is kind of dusty. Not even at this point. It's always been. So, you can be misguided with that. When you look at that and you see, first, second round knockout for Lerone Murphy, you got to look at how it came. It wasn't accumulation of punches. It wasn't this like sweet setup or anything like that. It was basically him getting, wall walked for the opening minutes 2-3 times, rinsed and repeat twice, and then off the break he caught him with a spinning elbow, perfectly time spinning elbow. It was like the second spinning elbow on that card. Actually, there were 2 spinning elbow knockouts on that card. So when I saw that, I was like, all right, well, the chances of Evloev, number one, getting another person period getting caught with that shot, and having someone like Evloev who even applies more wrestling pressure than that, this is what I think I'm going to see. So personally, for me, I do not think this is going to be a very exciting main event. I don't. I think this is going to be a main event where if Evloev gets what he wants, he's just going to ride him. He's going to ride him. He's going to grapple with him. He's going to get on top of him. He's going to put his hooks in. Lerone Murphy's going to baseball back grip, stay safe, get out of a round. They'll box for a little bit. Maybe Lerone Murphy has a couple spots for himself, and then it's back on the hips, take him down, put his hooks in, playing defense, hand fighting. I think it's going to be a lot of that. It's going to be a lot of hand fighting, a lot of, staying safe. It's not going to be high volatility unless Evloev decides he wants to make a statement and he decides he wants to just stand and trade with Murphy, which I think would be ludicrous in quite honestly. So I'm not looking at this main event. I'm looking at it on paper as well. Evloev and Murphy, what a great fight. But when you really break it down on film, it seems like if it goes the way I think it's going to go, it's going to be kind of a boring fight. So official pick's going to be Movsar Evloev by decision. Okay. What we'll do is we will go through the a couple wagers that I like at the end of the card. We'll obviously go through Dayton's dog pick of the week at the end of the card as well. When we're done. But the co-main event is an interesting one. Michael Aswell versus Luke Riley. This was really, 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 really fun to break down for me. 2 young guys, 2 prospects, 2 strikers. You got Luke Riley minus 245, got Michael Aswell plus 210. Listen, when you watch Luke Riley fight, I mean, this is a guy who has bonus written all over him. I mean, if you really watch this guy's film and you go back and you see what this guy has been able to do, it's literally fun, fun. And his striking is very seamless. Everything is kind of down the middle. The one thing I will let you know right in turn is I'm not going to say he's chinny, but I have seen him dropped numerous times. I mean, I've seen him drop 3 times in one fight. I've seen him dropped in other fights. This kid can be dropped, and it's basically because he's a hawker. This guy will walk in on you. He will hunt you down. He will throw things down the middle, but he doesn't know how to stop his exchanges. In boxing, you have to understand how to stop your exchanges. You have to know when to get out and when to reset, when to go in, throw, and get out and reset. Sometimes he does stay in the pocket a little bit too long. He will stay in the pocket a little bit too long. And when you stay in the pocket a little bit too long, you tend to get caught in the chin. That was a problem that there was a friend of mine from Butler that I used to train with, this kid, Billy. And he had that same exact problem. He had great combinations. He threw everything down the middle. but you knew that he was going to stay in the pocket for 3-4 punches too long, where after a while they become sloppy. They become sloppy, and it allows you time to kind of collect yourself and come over the top with something big. And that's the way I used to catch him in sparring, and that's the way he used to get caught in a lot of sparring with other people. Once they start timing that, once they saying, all right, he's going to come into the pocket, he's going to stay here a little longer than he should, or he's going to move forward too heavy with his chin on the shelf, you can kind of time it. I mean, you can't be afraid to exit the pocket with somebody like that. You got to go in knowing I might get caught with something. You're going to eat something to shell out something. But the fact of the matter is his combinations are very crisp, but I'd like to see him cut them off at a certain point. Throw a couple combinations and get out and reset. Throw a couple combinations and get out and reset. He throws combinations and he keeps walking forward. Eventually, the guy's going to feel like, what happens when that happens to you as a defensive fighter, as you're going back, you got to fire something in exchange to get out of there. You have to fire. You have to, or else you're just going to get caught up on the fence. Even if your guard's up, if you're not defending yourself or throwing anything back, it's a kind of a read for the referee to say, like, why is he not firing back? So you have to fire back to get him off you. You can't push. I mean, you can go for a takedown, you can do what you want, but a lot of times if you're getting backed up on the cage and a guy's firing on you or just walking you down with combination, he's not exiting the pocket, you have to fire something to either catch him with something to get respect or just fire something back to make him hesitate. And that's how he gets caught a lot of the times. Now, when you look at Michael Aswell on the other side, he's a little bit more laid back. He's a little bit more timid, works behind a good jab. He throws a nice 2 combination, 1, 2, and 3 over the top. Does that numerous times, but that's also very readable, especially from an orthodox fighter. When a guy has that same jabbing pattern, that's also very readable. And he doesn't throw it with a lot of pop. He does it to really just kind of touch you. He touches you, he'll hit, he'll back up. So for him, it's like the opposite end of the spectrum. You got somebody in Luke Riley who sometimes doesn't know how to pull himself back from his combinations, and then somebody like Aswell who kind of sticks to that same criteria the opposite way. He'll throw 2 jabs and then a right hand over the top, or he'll throw 2 punch combination or a 1. He kind of sets everything up, which I personally like. From coming from a boxing background, I do like when somebody's a little bit more strategic. But it's just when you're looking at optics, what looks better? Just really think about it. What looks better with optics? Optics looks better when the guy's moving forward. He's throwing big shots. He's throwing to the body. Optics doesn't overcome that when you're throwing 1 jab, 2 jabs, right hand over the top, backing up. Right hand over the top, backing up. Left, right, backing up. It's the proper way to fight, but optic wise, it doesn't really make the judges lean forward and go, wow. So the thing I do have with Luke Riley, as much as he throws heavy octane and his chin is a liability, he's going to get caught. Mark my words, he's definitely going to get caught at some point. I just don't know if Aswell has that hardcore firepower or the willingness to kind of step into that fray with him and wait for it to actually happen. Like I said, he's more strategic, he's more calculated, he's kind of on his bike a little bit. He kind of uses his footwork a little better, where Riley's going to be the one, though, hunting him down, hunting him. So providing he doesn't get caught, I think this is Luke Riley's fight to win. I think the price tag is a little bit rich. I think it's a little bit rich, but all in all, I do think he wins this fight. I do probably think he wins this fight by decision. So give me Luke Riley by decision in this one. All right, next fight we have. This is an interesting one because you got the age factor involved. You have Patterson, who everybody was high on when he was coming in against Michael Venom Page. -180 for Michael Venom Page, +155 for Sam Patterson. The over and under is +115, 2.5, and the under is -135. There might be some action on that line. There might be some action on that over and under 2.5, depending on how Patterson approaches this. We know how Michael Venom Page is going to approach this. He's going to approach this like he approaches every other fight. Very unorthodox, very unchained, and it's very hard to lay a beat on him. I always go back to guys that I've trained with and stuff like that. We had a guy in the gym like that who was just very kind of all over the place, and he was a bigger guy, but his like idol was like Prince Nassim. So imagine like a heavyweight trying to fucking act like Prince Nassim. Not only does it look retarded, but it looks like we're looking at it like, I mean, you don't even look right. Like, this looks ridiculous. But laying a beat on him in the ring is very, very hard. You're looking at a guy like Sam Patterson, who would, the one thing I did was I pushed Michael Venom Page off to the side. Usually I watch the favorite first. I'll watch who's favorite. I'll watch them first, and then I'll go and I'll watch the dog. So I pushed him off to the side because I kind of have an idea. We all have an idea what his streamline is as far as how he fights. When you watch Sam Patterson fight, I spent a little bit more time on him, and I was like, well, okay, the one thing we have to figure out here on tape is how is he going to get inside on him? How is he going to lock Michael Venom Page down on the feet? Forget about the ground for a second. And he just doesn't have that linear movement. You need a certain linear movement to kind of trap down somebody like Michael Venom Page. You can't be a north and south fighter. If you're a north and south fighter with something like Michael Venom Page, he's going to go off to the left. He's going to pop off to the right. He's going to go off to the left. He's going to hit you, from all these different angles. And here you are, just straight north and south movement. You have to have a linear movement. You have to have a side to side movement where you can kind of slowly. It's almost like a zigzag, almost like dominoes. You could slowly corner him down, and you could kind of close him down, get him back to the warning track, make him start skirting the cage. If you fight him in space, he's going to chew you up. Now, can he be hit? Is Michael Venom Page a guy who can be hit? Of course you can hit him. He's been hit plenty of times because he kind of, when he fires at you, he kind of comes in and he kind of glides and he clears space. So if you can time him coming in, you can catch him with a big shot. We know Sam Patterson has big power. We know Sam Patterson has big power. Sorry, guys. But timing him is the issue. You have to figure him out. It was his hand, and it seems easier said than done, right? Because when we watch it on TV, on film, his hands are down. He's kind of hopping up and down. There's nothing like up like this where he's throwing, like there's nothing really to read. You're just looking at a head and you're looking at a waist. A lot of guys who fight, there's two ways that guys fight. Some guys will have their guard up and they, it's hard not to look at the head when the hands are down, but you kind of look at their torso too, because you want to see which way their hips are moving. And with someone like Michael Venom Page, he doesn't give you that read. Like there's nothing to read on him. He's just a guy kind of jumping up and down, and it seems like he's almost clowning you. It seems like he's almost playing with you. Right. So I just don't have the faith in Sam Patterson that he's going to be able to make those reads in time. Because you got to remember, you only got 15 minutes to do this. You know what I mean? So, a lot of times with Michael Venom Page, it's you could go down on the cards and then you could catch him with a shot, or you can put him in a bad situation, or maybe you can get in on his hips. But Sam Patterson's not a guy who is a great wrestler. He's a good grappler. He's got slick submissions and stuff like that. So his path to victory here is, he's got to close him down. He's got to find a way to close him down, get it on his hips, take him to the ground, and control Michael Venom Page. Now, Michael Venom Page can be taken down. I mean, he's been taken down numerous times. He does have a decent get-up game, but that's your path there. I mean, if you're going to stand in a 15-minute fight and you're going to just play fisticuffs with him, the chances of you losing that is like a guy who's a master at checkers playing a guy who's a master at chess. It just doesn't. It can happen. It can happen, but it's the chances of it happening, are a lot slimmer, because like I said, he's not making a read on you. He's got his read on you. He's waiting for you to make a move. You know what I mean? So if you don't make that move, then he's going to make a move on you, and you're not going to understand where it's coming from, what he's doing, how he's approaching you. So he's waiting for you. He's like, all right, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to bounce up and down. I'm going to give you an open look at all my targets. You got an open look at more, do something. And then you have no choice at that point. You're going to kind of hawk him down. You're going to try to throw something, and then he's going to drift off to the right and hit you with a right, and then he's back up. He kind of does clown you in his fights. He does a lot of what like Prince Nassim does in a different style, and it's very, very hard to read. Prince Nassim wasn't a great fighter. Everybody, like, there was I remember when I couldn't stand him. I remember people used to love him because he used to literally dance in the ring. He literally danced. Like, go back on YouTube and watch Prince Nassim. He used to dance in the ring, and then he fought Shane Mosley. And then Shane Mosley figured him out. And once he figured him out, everybody figured him out. And he didn't look good anymore. He looked like just this sloppy, crazy kid in the ring throwing punches that the shtick was up. Boxing is different, though. It's all feet. It's all on the feet. It's all like, if you get into trouble, you have to fight your way out with hands. With MMA, it's different. There's so many different avenues. You don't know where things are coming. There could be a kick coming. There could be a punch coming. There could be a takedown coming. There's so many different avenues levels that you have to defend. That dialing somebody like Michael Venom Page in is a lot easier said than done. So I'm going to go Michael Venom Page here. I hate to say it again. but I think it's going to be by decision. But I could tell you this: Sam Patterson's chin is not something that I am overly impressed with. So I can absolutely see Michael Venom Page getting this done inside the distance as well. But my official pick will be, I'll say, round 3 or decision, will be my pick for Michael Venom Page. Okay. And the next one, this is a fight where I think a lot of people are staying away from for numerous reasons. Not because to me, this is probably going to be the fight of the night, or it could be up for the fight of the night. This is a fight where the odds seem a little odd to me, if that makes sense. You got Nathaniel Wood plus 195 against Losene Keita minus 230. Over and under is minus 130. And the under is plus 110. So, I watched numerous amounts of film on this guy Keita, and a couple things came to mind with him. And those of you guys that have been involved or followed fighting for a long time, he's got a mixture of like a lot of guys. A lot of guys. Like, he's got the athletic ability. And listen, like, when I'm comparing him to people, it doesn't mean these people were as good as him or he is as bad as him or anything. But when I really watch him and I watch his athletic ability, I watch his style and his explosion, he reminds me of a little bit of like a Melvin Gillard back in the day. Like, he really, really believes in his athletic ability. He really believes in his power, and he's just a come forward guy. There's no rhyme or reason why he does anything. The only thing he does very, very well that I do like is that he goes to the body. A lot of guys don't go to the body. A guy like him who's super, super active and super just in your face and throwing big shots, these guys are usually headhunters, right? These guys are usually to take your head off. And he is a headhunter. There's no doubt about it. He is a headhunter. But he also has a really good innate ability to just stick you in the body. So that much I do, because it actually tells me, okay, he actually knows what he's doing. Like, he understands what he's doing. He's not just saying, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to throw big shots, I'm going to go to knock you out. He's kind of conscious of what he's doing in there, which is good. The one thing that really scared me about him is I watched the fight with him. I forget the guy's name. I think it was Sadali or something like that. And he was winning this fight from pillar to post. Okay. He had Sadali on his back foot the whole fight. He was on the gas the whole fight. And after the first round, I sat back and I said, you know what? This is I'm glad he's doing this, because I want to see if this guy's gas tank just diminishes. So I wanted him to keep that pace up, because I was like, at least I know what he's about. I know where his mind is. I know what he wants to do. I know he's really buying into the athletic explosion and the power and the knockout. I know he's buying into all that, because it's obviously visual what he's doing. But what I want to do now is I want to see if he can keep up this pace. So he comes back out in the second round. It's the same pace. He's putting it on. Sadali had him in trouble once. He hit him with a little bit of shot that I don't think he put him in trouble. I think he was shocked that he got hit with it, and he backed up for a second. Then he was right back on the gas, right back on the back. So basically, like, I'm looking at this guy, I'm going, all right, well, anybody he fights, he's going to be in your face. So the person that he fights, he's got to be good fighting off the back foot, because if he's not good fighting off the back foot, this is just going to be a hunt. It's going to be a hunt. Third round comes along, and he's hunting again, same pace. And I'm like, you know what? This dude's cardio is actually checking out a little bit. I was like, he's got a pretty high volatile pace here. He's throwing big looping shots, looking to take this guy's head out, still working to the body. And then all of a sudden he gets caught with a shot and he buckles. Okay, he gets buckled. But one shot, it was the only real clean shot he got hit with that fight. And his legs buckle. As Sadali takes him down, and the fight ended there. Now, he lost the fight. Sadali lost the fight. But the fact of the matter is, he took that one shot. His legs buckled. He got taken down, and now he looked human. He looked tired. His legs looked weak. He didn't really have a good ability to kind of shrimp away or get onto a hip, or he was just kind of accepting. Now, could it be that he said, listen, the fight's over. I got clipped with a shot. I'm going to stay here. Maybe. But what point in time are you guaranteed that you're winning rounds? Like, you know what I mean? Are you really going to give up with a minute left and just stay on your back and allow him to work, or put yourself in a really bad position optics wise? You don't know how these judges are. Well, we know how the judges are, but you don't know what's going on. So then I said, okay, well, Nathaniel Wood is a guy who is chinny as well. And the reason why Nathaniel Wood is chinny is not so much because he's got a overall bad chin. He puts it out there way too much. And that's my biggest gripe with Nathaniel Wood is he does put it out there way too much. This is a guy who also gets caught in these exchanges. Like he doesn't know when to shut the light off and back out and reset. Now I know that's what you guys want to see, right? That's what we all want to see. We all want to see the Don Fry, with the fucking the collar tie where they're just pounding each other in a fight. I know that's what we want to see, right? We just want to see all out chaos and all out fucking war. Who doesn't want to see that? But when you're in there, that's not a sustainable way to fight because eventually you're going to get timed. Eventually you're going to get caught. When you go in and you throw a combination and you reset and you come out, and then you go in, you shy at a punch, and you go in and you add to a punch, and you go in and you shy at a punch. There's no real way to fucking time you. And all this time you're connecting, you're resetting, and he's resetting too. And when he's resetting, what does that tell you? It tells you that he's got to dial you in all over again. But if you go in and you're throwing these combinations and you're literally biting down and you're just sitting, like, because he sits on all his punches and you're just sitting on all your punches, not only is the corner seeing it and saying, listen, the next exchange, he's going to overstay his welcome. He's going to overstay his welcome. He's sitting on all his punches. You just got to shell up and wait. And then you uncork something and then start uncorking on him. And I'm telling you, within the next 3 exchanges, you're going to catch him on the chin. And that's how he gets caught. That's how Nathaniel Wood gets caught. He gets caught in these firefights, these 30, 10-second firefights he gets caught in. But here's the thing. We've seen him come back. We also seen that he has a grappling game. He has a wrestling game if he needs to use it. I would encourage him to use that in this fight. I really would. I would encourage Nathaniel Wood to utilize that in this fight. I think he's going to need to use it in this fight. I think if he's getting backed up, because Nathaniel Wood's not a guy who really likes to get back up. He like if you watch his fight against Morgan, he was they were both sitting there. Nobody was hunting anybody down. He likes to sit in the center of the cage and kind of play with you. Enter when he wants, get out when he wants, enter when he wants. He's not a guy who wants to be put on the back foot. He's not a great counter fighter from his back foot. So he's going to get pushed back. And then I think it'd be good for him after a while, once he starts feeling that heat, maybe the level change, because we've seen, the outcome of when he was taken down after he got caught with that shot. He wasn't really able to get up, and I think somebody like Nathaniel Wood, he's not known for his grappling, but I think he would have good optics in a close round and maybe a non-active round or whatever to take the fight down to the ground, land some big shots, and see what this guy's made of. Test this guy's chin, test this guy's moxie as far as what happens if there was another 2 rounds in that other fight. How would that fight go? Would he come out at the end of the round? Would he be a little defeated? Would he be gassed out? Because he did look gassed. That last minute when he got clipped, he looked gassed and he looked fragile. So when I look at this line, I think, like, yes, can he come in and can he walk Nathaniel Wood down and spark him out cold? Absolutely. Because like I said, Nathaniel Wood's going to encourage it. He's going to step into the fire with him. He will get backed up. But eventually he's going to bite down. He's going to sit on his punches. There's going to be some kind of crazy exchange. And if this guy times it right, he absolutely can knock out Nathaniel Wood. But for plus 195, after I saw with Keita what happened at the end of that fight when he got hit by one shot, like that whole fight, he got hit by that one shot and he got buckled, and then like it just went a 180 from there. Like he looked like a different fighter until the end of the fight. There's something to be said about that. We've seen Nathaniel Wood in wars, right? Win or lose. We've seen him in these moxie scraps. We know what he's made of. Yes, can he lose? Can he get knocked out? Absolutely. But at least we know what he's made of. That was a flag for me when I saw that. I said, okay, we got something here with this kid. Like, I want to see what happens now when he fights someone like Nathaniel Wood, when he's willing to really throw and engage with him. What if Nathaniel Wood catches him early? So that plus 195 to me does have value. So I'm going to pick Nathaniel Wood in this fight. And I think this fight does have an opportunity to be fireworks. I think this could be one of the fights of the night. So from a DraftKings perspective, from a wagering perspective, it's probably a fight that A, you want to tune into, B, you want to roster in your DraftKings lineups, and C, there's either you're going to take the dog on Nathaniel Wood. If you want to go the other way and you're against me and you think Keita's going to win, you might want to look in for some So, all right, Dayton, what do we got now for you? Were 1-0 for the dog of the week. What do we got?
All right. Well, I'm hoping to go 2-0. Back to the same old, same old. There's not really any fighter that I wanted to pick. Then I got down the line and I saw Melissa Mullins plus 110.
You know what? I'm with you.
Are you? Okay.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. I'll talk about that for a second, that fight. So, yeah, the thing with Melissa Mullins, man, and what made you come to that conclusion?
Well, look at her.
Why, you think she's hot?
Well,
put her back up. Dude, she looks like fucking Who Did It and Ran.
No, but I'm talking like you put her up against the other.
No, yeah. Oh, against Carolina, yeah. Yeah, agreed. So yeah, no, with this fight, real quick, the only thing I'm going to say about Melissa Mullins is she doesn't have good cage IQ. She makes a lot of terrible decisions. For as bad as Lerone Carolina is, like, I can't say she's horrible. You know what I mean? Like, she has had a little bit of an uptick. She has shown some nice things. She does make a little better decisions. But the problem with Lerone Carolina and what that Mullins can expose, if Mullins gets on top of you, she's kind of barbaric. Like, that's where she's kind of in her home. Like, if she gets on top of you, believe it or not, like, how many decisions do you need to make? I mean, if you're on top of somebody, you're not standing up. So what kind of bad decision can you possibly make unless you're not just raining down punches and you're not trying to finish the fight, which she does do. You know what I mean? Which she does do. So if she doesn't have a brain fart in here and she just decides to go that path, I'm with you. I think she's live at plus 105. That's what it is, right? Plus 105?
Plus 110. That's what I found on
plus 110. Yeah. So yeah, I like that. Okay, guys, as far as a couple wagers or a wager, I'm going to give you a wager right now with one of the fights that we broke down that I like a lot. Now, Michael Venom Page is minus 180. Nothing that I want to really get involved in. I don't like that because, like I said, at the end of the day, Sam Patterson does pack power. He can catch him with a shot. Michael Venom Page is getting a little bit older. Also, there is that slight situation where Sam Patterson can maybe lock up a sub or something like that. But if you want to make this fight even money, for Michael Venom Page, you can go to Michael Venom Page to win and over 1.5 rounds, which I think is a really, 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 really serviceable and good bet. I think there's value there because you're looking at a guy who's not looking to storm the gates. He's not looking to really, he knows in the beginning that Sam Patterson's going to be dangerous. He's got power. He's got to watch his submissions. He's going to wait for, like I said, he waits for you to make a move. So Patterson's going to be a little hesitant. So I think this has the ability to go over 1.5. So I think if you do want to play that, I think that is the way to go. You go Michael Venom Page to win and over 1.5 minus 105. And you could do the decision prop. The reason why I'm not, because I do think there's a world where Michael Venom Page does finish the fight late. So that's my bet of the week. Michael Venom Page to win and over 1.5 minus 105 out of the 4 fights. And then as far as Nathaniel Wood, since that's such a heavy dog, let me back out of here real quick. Now you could take the plus 198, right? You could take the plus 198 on that there, and you could kind of sit tight. But you can do, if you really want to get froggy, you could do let me see, do they have the one? I think this fight's ended inside the distance. So I'm gonna say to win by finish. You could Nathaniel Wood inside the distance, which means KO, submission, or DQ. You can get him at plus 600. There's value there. I'm sorry, but after what I saw with Keita, like I said, I know the guy's a fucking destroyer, and I know he can go in first round and completely dispatch of Nathaniel Wood. But at the end of the day, Nathaniel Wood is notorious for being in these just fucking chaotic fights. And if you're giving me Nathaniel Wood, like I said, if you don't want to do the plus 198 because maybe you don't think he's going to lose, maybe you think he's going to lose, but how do you not look at that plus 600 a little bit? Even if you think he's going to lose, how do you not look at? They have Keita at plus 120 inside the distance, which means they're expecting this to go inside the distance more than likely. They're expecting him to win. So when you see the plus 600, when I'm telling you that this possibly could be a fight of the night, I mean, how do you not take a little sprinkle on Nathaniel Wood plus 600? If you want to make it even a little juicier, and you want to go Nathaniel Wood by KO, it's plus 900. It's plus 900. Submission plop is plus 1600. I mean, could it happen? Yeah, but you can go plus 900 for the KO. Or if you just want to cover your tracks, go plus 600. It covers everything. So I don't know. There's something to be said about that line. That's a little sprinkle. Even if you guys want to throw $10 on it, and then you can kind of chime in and let me know how you did. Tell me what you guys like. Tell me what fights you're looking forward to. Tell me if you agree with me, if you don't agree with me. Guys, I know there was a couple of you guys in there chiming in about you wanted the full cards and stuff like that. Guys, the free show, I give you the best content I could possibly put out. I hope you do enjoy it. But like I said, you're not going to make everybody happy, right? So if you want to see all my work, you want to see all my fights, you want to see my DraftKings lineups, you want to see my wagerings, my wagering blueprint and everything like that. Like I said, we are up on the year, not up in the year. We went up on the week last week. Boxing, everything. You come to the madlabmma.com. We also have a yearly long fantasy league for MMA, which has a ton of people in it. We run it like every 8 to 12 weeks, where at the end you get a trophy. Your name is etched on it. You go on the Wall of Fame. We have a couple more weeks left in this one. It's the first ever that we're throwing. So we're yet to crown a champion, but the champion will be crowned. He'll defend the belt. And like I said, on the site, every 12 weeks, there will be somebody put in the Wall of Fame. So that's it, boys and girls. madlabmma.com. I will see you next week for some more fights. We have a couple good cards coming up, and we got some good boxing coming up. So there will be a little bit of boxing thrown in here as well.